Hello, Saints. Today we're in the part of Daniel that we're going to be teaching in the Daniel class later on tonight. And it has to do with in first chapter of Daniel, where we see the resistance that Daniel has put. Now, we talked about that here just a couple of days ago, where Daniel and his three followers, his three friends, determined to be true to God, keep their faith. But this part here, the resistance, has to do with how they were passive resistance, how they resisted not with force. In fact, Mahatma Gandhi had read the book of Daniel and loved it, and said Daniel was the greatest passive in history, political passive, that is, which is what Gandhi was. He was a passive. So here we are in Daniel 1, beginning in verse 6. This is the resistance. He says, "Now from among them, from the sons of Judah, were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah." Those are the four. Daniel and his three friends. Those are their Babylonian names. Hebrew names. Then the commander of the officials assigned new names to them. And to Daniel he assigned the name Belteshazzar, to Hananiah Shadrach, to Mishael Meshach, and to Azariah Abednego. Now, you don't see it just by reading that, but the resistance is here. Just in those names that I read are really corruptions of the Babylonian names that were given them. So when Daniel wrote the words down and wrote his name, they gave me Belteshazzar. That wasn't his name, Belteshazzar. His actual name was Belshazzar. Yeah, that's right. That was the king we see in the 5th chapter, who was the last king of Babylon. He had the same name, that the gods would protect. That's what it means. God would protect the king. But they had these corruptions put in, kind of like being punny, sarcastic, getting their point across that they were not really in tune to this. They were just having to do what they were forced to do. But you didn't have to like it. And so this passiveness we see follows them not just from chapter 1, but on through the story. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't respect, because you have to respect people if you want respect. Daniel's always respected the kings, even when he was in the lion's den. And you notice he says, when the king came the next morning to see if Daniel was still alive, he says, "O king, live forever," and a sign of respect, even though he got thrown in there all night with the lions. But the idea is they were still fighting what they were at. They realized where they were at is not where they wanted to be, and they were protecting their connection to the true God, protecting themselves in the purity of their religion, and not falling subject to the corruption of the world around them. We see this all through Daniel, both in the narratives and in the prophecies. Blessings.